welcome to a very special episode of Today in Woburn. I'm your host, Samantha Stone, and I am thrilled that we are getting to take a look at history, living history, things that are happening right here in Woburn today. And we're going to talk with the pastor of First Church and talk a lot about what the history of the church was and all the amazing work they're doing to bring it back up to its full glory. Welcome.
Thank you for being here, Samantha. What a pleasure.
I am so pleased to be getting this tour from you today. And before we go inside and see all the amazing work, we can't not talk about this amazing steeple.
That's right.
I mean, it is so tall.
That's
Tell
right.
us about it.
Well, you may know that actually our church, this is the church that started the town of Woburn almost 400 years ago in 1642, one of the oldest congregations in the country. And this is actually the sixth building of the congregation. So one of the previous buildings is actually that building right there, which the congregation occupied until it got too small. And then we built this. And when this was built, one of the amazing things they did was this steeple. And it is known to be the tallest wooden steeple in North America. It's about 196 feet tall.
That is amazing, and it's hard to picture, but if you get a chance, come by and just stand here and you look up, and it is sort of glorious that you can see such a big, long steeple. And for many of us, it's definitely the mile marker for downtown. If you're coming in and you're driving from lots of places, we have an opportunity to see that.
That is correct. That is correct. It has been, people call this building the crown jewel of downtown Woburn, and it really is. And appropriately so, we are on Church Street and Main Street. This is one of the things that I really like, and that it brings the church and the people kind of together.
I love that. And you know, one of the things that I think is so special is that at the time that Woburn was founded in 1642, you needed a church to found a city or a town. And so really this church is part of who we are as a community at its very core.
That's right. In those days, when the Puritans came over, they landed in Massachusetts in 1620 and established Thanksgiving in 1621. And just about 21 years later, they planted this church as the land was getting too small over in Charlestown near Boston. They sent a group of people to scout out a new piece of land, and they found this piece of land, called it Woburn. And in those days, to start a town, you first plant a church, a new congregation. And so they came here and planted the congregation, the first parish of Woburn. And out of this church then came some of the neighboring towns, Burlington, Winchester, and several others. So it has a great history. And our first pastor, as you'll see inside, was the first minister ever ordained in America. And that's one of the great facts of history that we have here at the church.
It's amazing. And today we're standing outside and it's a thriving downtown. There's cars and businesses and restaurants and banks and hair salons and all kinds of things. But the time that the church was first founded, this was just open pasture.
There was just trees.
Trees, right?
There were a lot more trees, as you can see from some of the paintings. And the first building they built was a very humble, small building that reflected a time, and it was a few people, but they had a great vision. And one of the things they really had is they had faith. They really believed that God was needed in the society, that it was the foundation of a healthy society was faith, and the teachings of the New Testament, what Jesus said, we love God and then we love our neighbor. That kind of was part of the foundation that they laid for a healthy society. And it is really one of the reasons why we continue to be here, to just remind the society, remind our generation that we need faith.
Well, for those of you who watch the show often, we always end the show saying, continue to take good care of each other, which started way back in the days. Thank you so much. Let's head on inside.
Okay.
So this is such a lovely welcome to the space.
That's right.
And it's an opportunity for us to see some of the wonderful things that are happening inside. And I see kind of a gorgeous mural. We're going to have to go in there and tell us about it.
That's correct. So this is our kids' room, essentially, right now. And what you see there is a picture, a drawing of Noah's Ark. It is something that kids often like. It's a reminder to us that when there was a flood, God made a place where all life could be saved, where animals of all kind, 2 by 2, came into that ark and they were spared. And that's a central thing in the Christian faith because it's a reminder of the cross. Jesus died on a wooden cross, just like this was a wooden ark, and those who come under that cross are saved. And so it is, we like to think of our church as a big ark where people of all kinds, all races, all backgrounds, all socioeconomic status can come and find shelter under the cross of Christ.
It's a beautiful mural. I hope the camera captures the really detailed paintings of animals. It's just absolutely wonderful. And it's hard to see, I'm sure, on camera, but there's these beautiful big windows that are here as well that are sort of letting light in. It sounds like a really wonderful space for children to spend time.
Yeah, and we are hoping, God willing, to have an even bigger room. We are having a bit more kids in the church now. We're in a revitalization phase. We can talk more about that, but the one of the visions we have is to provide a bigger space for children in the church.
It's beautiful, thank you. Mm-hmm. So I think next we're gonna check out one of the sanctuary spaces.
That's right.
Wonderful. So that was a beautiful space for children, but you have a beautiful sanctuary space up here that you're gonna show us. And I know there's been a lot of work to bring it back to its beautiful state.
That's
and
right.
I have to tell you, these doors are just stunning, the woodwork and detail on them.
Yeah, this was a fabulous job. It was actually made by some members of the church. It
really?
was, yeah, that's right. And you know, because of the renovation we're doing in our main sanctuary, we are temporarily meeting here in our lower sanctuary here. And it's just a space that's, you know, different from upstairs, but it's nice in that it's smaller, it is more intimate, and people enjoy being here. We have our prayer meetings here as well as other smaller meetings.
Well, I will tell you, I stopped by on Kindness Day because you were kind enough to have a few hours during the day to open up for anyone, and I'm not a member of the church, but felt immediately welcomed and a sense of calm and peace just being able to say hello to the folks who were here, but also to just sit in quiet contemplation. So thank you for opening your doors to our community.
Of course, and thank you for allowing us to be a part of that. It was such an honor for us, and we really had a wonderful time. We're supposed to be open for just a few hours, but we really ended up being open for the entire afternoon that day because there were people coming here praying. It was just such a beautiful time. And I must say, anyone who wants prayer, needs help, can reach out to us at info@1stwoburn.org.
Wonderful, I love it. What is the next space that you're going to take us to?
Well, I want to show you our library.
So I know this room is a work in progress in terms of organization, but it is stunning in here.
That's right. Well, it is beautiful woodwork here all around the walls and up on the coffered ceiling. This is our library. It's kind of our historical room where we keep a lot of old stuff. You know, in an old church like this, you find a lot of old things. We have found, I'll get a chance to show you, we found newspapers from the 1800s. We found a mission conference pamphlet from the 1800s and other articles like that. There are old pictures of church members. There's even document with old budgets from the 19th.
In the archives of our Woburn Public Library, I got a chance to look at a parish cookbook, an old cookbook.
Oh,
I don't know
really?
if you've seen that.
No, I have
not. But it was really fun to look through.
I have not.
Yeah.
I would like to see that. Yeah.
And they have in the library, they have a slate which was from the original roof that has a painting of the church on it as well. They have a couple of nice pieces there.
That's right. The slate on this building actually came from, they call them months in Maine. They came from a place in Maine, and they're known to last 200 years. So this building was built in 1860, so we still have some of the original slate still on top of the building, but you know, obviously soon we plan to redo that as well.
Yeah. Show us some of the treasures. I see some really interesting looking photographs and things.
That's right. This is an old, these are old newspapers, articles, and from, some are not so old. They're from the 1980s, but this here is actually the building being built.
Wow.
Back in the
That's amazing.
in 1860, you can see the wooden scaffolding going.
It's amazing how tall. I mean, I knew that it was very tall, so obviously they had to work very hard, but to imagine it all scaffolding to get that built.
With no electrical equipment, with no lifts, none of that. And you can see actually here, if you look carefully, a horse and a carriage.
Wow! And look at all the trees that are surrounding it.
A lot more trees, yeah, much.
Amazing.
A lot has changed in 160 years that the building's been around, and and there's just various old documents here. You get these are some, I believe, church members from. I think these might have been people who were. This is from 1944. This is around World War II, and I think these might have been some of the some people who were. Some of whom fought in that. I would suspect, and. This is the Women's Club from, I don't know what year this is actually, but it seems to be very old.
We'll take a look at the clothing and see if that gives us a hint. It definitely has an error to it. Someone who is in fashion will have to give us a good guess.
That's right. Yeah, no, I think this is from the 1940s. This is 1944. Yeah.
Amazing. And you have a beautiful mural that is on one of the walls here behind us. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I think this is just something that was done to give a sense that there is a window here, even though there isn't one. You have these large windows on one side, and I think they just wanted a nice scenery on this side here. We're definitely not close to the beach here.
But I can picture myself drinking a cup of tea on that patio.
Right. And you have this super old, I still don't exactly know what this is, but I think it's some kind of an old mixer.
It's an old mixer, so many of us have, modern day versions of this. This has stood the test of time, sure. That's wonderful. And, well, whoever did the painting on this mural and in the mural in the children's room was extremely talented.
Absolutely. I mean, the church has been blessed over the years to have very talented people. Some of those trophies there are from just the some leagues that the church used to be involved with. From what I understand, there were leagues that churches around here will be sports leagues that they would be involved in, and those are some of the trophies that came to us.
So this room has a special name. Tell us about that.
That's right. This is the 1642 room, and it has its name from the fact that the church was founded in 1642. And there are different types of meetings that are held here. Right now, we're thinking of turning this into the bigger children's room.
That would be great. I bet you a lot of life, a lot of laughs, and a lot of great things can happen in this space.
That's right. And after church, this is part of where the kids come and do hide and seek. And you can usually, there's a lot of screaming and running after the services. And I really love that. We really love that. We want the children to feel that this is their home. And recently, when I just saw them, they were having so much fun. After the service, I was so glad to see that because it means that they were feeling at home.
So this feels like a cozy dining space. You've got a little fireplace mantle, beautiful room, some wonderful historic elements. Tell us how this space is used.
So every Sunday after the service, we come here and we have lunch together. And we really love it. One of the things we want to foster in our church is community and fellowship. So we just don't want people come to church and then disappear right after, attend the service and just be a number in the church. We want to spend time and eat together, share with each other what's going on. And people usually stay here for a while. And as I mentioned earlier, the kids play here in the other room, and it's just a wonderful time of fellowship. And we like it because it's been set up to feel like a living room, to feel like you're at home. And Yeah.
It really does. It feels extremely welcoming, and it has it has this beautiful hardwood. You've got these beautiful light. You have some light coming in from outside.
That's right.
Even it is a wonderful, cozy space to be with your neighbors and fellows.
Yeah, one thing that I can show you here. Well, this is the first building of the church, and probably the earliest building in the whole Woburn area, in this area, in fact. And here is the ordination of Thomas Carter, the first minister ordained in America. So prior to him, the previous couple of decades, 20 years, the ministers were all ordained in England and then came here. But when this church was planted for the first time, they took someone who was local and they made him a pastor. You can see the original of this painting at the Woburn Public Library.
It is beautiful. I went over to visit with the archivist the other day, and it's in a beautiful space, and it's big. I definitely hope and encourage people to go check it out.
Right when you walk and you look left, it's right on there. Yeah.
When you come to the front of the church, there's these beautiful, big, cathedral-like doors, is what I think of in an old church. And we just came in here, and you are greeted by the most stunning, beautiful painted doorway and the glass. And tell us about this and the work that you're doing. Clearly, there's work happening here with the scaffolding.
Well, this is a beautiful door with the stained glass on the top. It's the only place in the building actually where we have stained glass. It's sort of like a peacock, I guess, a theme to it. And this was done by an artist a while back. And it's part of the beauty of the church that is we're trying to restore. Here is the lobby. It looks very palatial. A lot of work has been going on here, as you can see from this scaffolding. So I can tell you a few things. These are the holes that you see here, holes that were done to blow in insulation. The building has been insulated, so it feels quieter. You don't hear as much of the traffic, and it also keeps the space warmer. And the insulation was done by a company called Mass Green Insulation. They graciously did this as a gift to the church.
What a beautiful gift.
Really without us asking for it, and we're very grateful and thankful to them for that. And you can see these walls here have been redone. The plaster was too damaged. We could not salvage it. Where we could, we have restored the plaster, but where there was just too much damage, it had to be taken down and replaced. This was one of the areas that had to be completely redone, this entire curved walls, as well as the ceiling above it. This one was repaired. There were some patches of it that had to be repaired, that be replaced, but it's been mostly a repair on this side. And there was a replastering of some of these beautiful columns as well. The woodwork here is original.
It's in stunningly good shape. I mean, it's covered in dust right now because of the work with plaster, but it is absolutely beautiful.
That's right, that's right. You can see the workmanship, the craftsmanship.
Just wow. I mean, even though the space is incomplete, the moment you walk in, you feel how special it is. And I can't help but behind us is this amazing organ. Tell us about that.
Well, this is our sanctuary, and it is majestic just by its sheer size. And over there is H&J Hook organ. It was a famous organ company that has built a lot of historical organs in the United States for about 100 years, and they ended that the company stopped making them about 100 years ago. This model here is one of only a couple of this type that have survived. I think there's one here and there's one in Maine. It has about, I believe, 1,500 or 1,800 pipes in there.
Wow.
And it still works. It's original to the building from 1860. And we do use it on Sundays. It sounds wonderful.
It's worth coming just to hear that beautiful piece of history play. And what a gift you have, someone who knows how to play it.
It sounds wonderful, yeah. And we can sit 1,200 people in this room. And I believe when the town had its 375th anniversary, it was held here. The building is in much better shape. You can see there has been restorations of the arches around, of the ceiling. There's part that still needs to be done. One of the special things that we discovered here is about the ceiling. So there were 2 sets of drop ceilings here. So one generation put a drop ceiling under the original plaster. Another generation put a second drop ceiling when the first one began to be damaged. And we took both of those down, revealing this original plaster, and we discovered this beautiful design all around that we believe is original to the building. And we're trying to study and see if we can salvage that.
What a gift if we are able to do that.
Yes,
and just opens up the space having not the drop ceilings
That's
as
right.
well.
That's
Well,
right.
this is incredible. You know, one of the things that I know, this space is still being worked on, and it'll take a little while before it's completed, but you often open your doors to not just people who are members of the church, but to the community at large. We talked about Kindness Day. Any
That's
events coming up that you want to let us know about?
Well, every month we have some kind of an opening of prayer. So actually this week is our week of prayer. So anybody again who needs prayer, who wants to pray, can come and be part of it. But also we're hoping to start Bible studies, which are open to the whole public. Anyone that wants to learn more about the New Testament, what it teaches, that's going to start in May. And once the weather gets warmer, you know, we are hoping to have more community outreach, cookouts and barbecues, and just come and meet and greet, and tours of the building and things like that.
Well, this is amazing work that you're having done. Thank you for helping to restore this building to its glory and helping be part of our community.
Of course, of course. And, you know, and I do need to give just a special shout out to the company that has been doing this. You know, it's called Alejandro Painting and Historical Renovations. They are the ones that painted the outside of the building, did all the carpentry, and they are the ones who are also doing this. It's almost miraculous seeing what they've done. These walls were very damaged. They restored these, so these are still the original plaster, but those front 2 walls had to be completely replaced because there was too much damage to it. And we have some beautiful windows being manufactured right now by a gentleman named Peter Miles, who's making brand new mahogany windows that will be an exact match replica of these, and those should be getting installed in a week or 2.
Wow, that is so exciting. I can't wait to see that work. That's amazing.
It'll be wonderful. It'll be wonderful.
That's great.
And I could, by the way, the organ is normally covered while they're working by a huge tarp and plastic. They removed it just so you can take a look at it.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I know it's disruptive while you're working to do that.
No,
We're so grateful and good to know we're taking good care of it. So I know the electricity is turned off because they're working here today, and so we can't actually play the organ. This is beautiful, 3 levels. It looks very hard to play. Tell us a little bit about how it works.
Well, the organ works basically by air being pumped into these pipes. And I mentioned there's about 1,500 or 1,800 pipes in here, behind here. And you sit here, and this is called, I think, a 3, I forgot the term, but it's a 3-layer keyboard. And you have all of these different stops that you can use to change the quality and the character of the sound. And then you have foot pedals as well that you press, and they sound more bassy. And when you play it, I mean, it can be heard through the whole entire building.
Amazing.
It really is both a great piece of music and engineering, but also just a great piece of art.
Yeah,
It looks
and a
beautiful.
wonderful piece of history
That's right.
on top of it. Thank you for showing that to us.
Of course.
So earlier you teased us that there's a secret way that the lights get turned on, so let's find out what it is.
So in the old days, they had gas light. And so there was this gas pipes that will run from the basement through the walls and will come out to different light fixtures on the walls and on the ceiling. And if you open here, you will see an old gas pipe, and this was the shut off where the light will turn on, and there's another one downstairs. And if you come here, it's hard to see, but if you look in here, one of the things we discovered, this is where the gas line ran through here all the way up to the different walls and to the different fixtures.
That is incredibly smart for a time where we didn't have a lot of the kind of electricity that we take for granted today. Maybe a little scary, dangerous, but...
Yeah, I mean, they must have had a procedure to it. The fact that the building survived all these years with gas-powered light, it's quite amazing. But we found them everywhere, even in my office and other places. And on top here as well, there must have been a chandelier that was gas-powered.
It must have been almost mystical with the gas light flames and it turned on in its peak.
They probably were very careful to open the windows and let any extra gas.
Yeah, that's really, thank you for, that's wonderful little find.
Sure. So this is a spiral staircase that leads to the back of the balcony, and it was, we believe it was added later on to the building, but the plaster was just so damaged. It's one of these areas where we need to completely redo it. And you get a sense of how large these windows are from here.
So one thing that I have to show you that is just the silliest surprise, but fabulous. So this is a ladies' room. Doesn't look like it's going to be anything special, but come with me. You're going to love it. This is a powder room. Isn't it absolutely beautiful? Now I know going to the restroom isn't always the most fun, but boy, is this a place that you don't mind spending a little bit of time. So as we wrap up this amazing tour, thank you so much for showing all the work that's being done and all the history that's there. Tell us a little bit about the denomination of the church and who you welcome here.
Yeah, so the church is non-denominational, which just means that we are not part of any particular large denomination. We're an independent church. We're a Bible-believing church. We believe the Bible is the Word of God. We believe that all people are sinners and all people need forgiveness through Jesus Christ. We believe in heaven and in hell. We believe in God who loves us and sent His Son to die for our sins so that we can be in a relationship with Him if we would repent and put our faith in Jesus Christ. And once we do that, the Bible says that we can then have a relationship with God. I believe that, we believe that all of us, the deep longing that we have in our hearts, the things that we look for in life, that satisfaction, that joy that we try to find either in money or in pleasures or in all these other things, achievement, we believe we can find all of that fulfillment in a living relationship with God.
Thank you. Before we leave, you have to tell me about this beautiful plaque and let our audience know what we're looking at.
Well, this here is the one surviving autograph of the original, the first pastor of this church. And we can't quite figure out all of what it says, but this is his writing. And it says something about, let it be known that God is love or something to that effect, but it is the only surviving autograph of the original pastor.
What a beautiful way to end our time together. I am so appreciative of the tour you've given us. This is a historic part of our community, whether you're a member of the church here or not. This is the place that we as a city started, and so it's so wonderful to learn about it, and I'm so grateful for the restoration work that is happening and all the people who are helping you with the work that is being done. It's being done beautifully, and we're so grateful. And Woburn, as always, please continue to take good care of each other.